4th. This is Coffee Conversations brought to you by rooferscoffeeshop.com. And this episode today is brought to you by Johns Manville. Thank you so much, Johns Manville, for sponsoring this episode and bringing just these really amazing young voices to the forefront of the industry today. So good on you, JM. All right. I'm so excited because today we're talking about the next generation of roofing, and I am a part of that. So it's very near and dear to my heart, and I have a really really great panel of guests with me today, and I'm going to start out with Lily Tillman Smith. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey everybody, my name is Lily Tillman Smith, and since we're talking about Gen Z, I will say I just turned 27 years old. I work for a company called Principia. We're part of Dodge Construction Network. Basically, we conduct lots of market research focusing solely on the building product space, and as an industry analyst, I track the residential and commercial roofing and insulation markets, basically looking at how all the products grow in a given year, forecast product growth, and track things like mergers and acquisitions or capacity, whatever. And basically, I just keep my finger on the pulse of the market and try to understand how trends are going to impact the market going forward. When I'm not nerding out about roofing or insulation, I enjoy spending time with my husband, my two cats. I play Fortnite, and I also love to scroll TikTok for way too many hours.
I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. Love. Okay, next we have Cade. Hi, Cade. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name's Cade Pack. I grew up in Arlington, Texas, so go Cowboys, sadly. But I went to Texas State for a little bit, and then I decided I was gonna go into roofing instead of finish my college career. But yeah,
That's
my
great.
goal is to own my own company one day. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can.
Love it.
And
Love
I
it.
also have a wiener dog named Cowboy, so
Oh my God. I
fun
might
fact.
need a picture of Cowboy in the
Yeah.
chat when you have a chance.
Love it.
Fabulous. Thank you for being here, Cade. Mia, hello. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Mia Zamora. I'm originally from a small town up in North Illinois. It's called Wakanda. I recently graduated from Mizzou this past May. I majored in textile and apparel management, which was more on the retail fashion side. But somehow I found my way in the roofing industry, which I'm so excited to start my career with SRS Distribution. We are a vendor of exterior products. I'm a part of their management training program, which I just started a couple of months ago, about a month and a half. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here today.
Amazing. Thank you for being here, Mia, and welcome to the industry. We were talking beforehand about how you're probably never going to leave now, so buckle up.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay, Brandon. Hello, good morning. Please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name's Brandon. I'm an operations manager at Great Way Roofing, which is our family business. I grew up in Ventura County, California, and been involved in the roofing industry for close to 6 years. My dad started it though before I was born, so I like to say I was like born into the industry. But when I was in college, I would work on like with our crews and tear off roofs and stuff. So I've seen both sides of the company. I went to school at Chapman in Orange County, studied finance and played baseball there. And
Cool.
then after college, I kind of did something similar to Mia with Beacon as a management trainee. I was there for 6 months, and then I ended up coming back over to the family business to help out.
Nice. Very nice. Amazing. Thank you for being here, Brandon. And last but not least is Lane. Hello, good morning.
Good
Please introduce
morning.
yourself.
Hi, I'm Lane Mamone. I work for Element Roofing. We are a Bay Area roofing company in California. Um, yeah, I've been in roofing since kind of like Brandon. It's a family company. My dad started it. I've been roofing probably since I was 12 years old, and now I operate the sales. I'm the sales manager. for the last 2
Wow.
years.
Wow, congrats. That's huge. I love it. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to turn these slides off now. And we're just going to get into the conversation. So, everyone in attendance, thank you for being here. If you have questions for our wonderful panel of people, please feel free to send them in the chat. And I would love to know, maybe Lily, we start with you and kind of do the whole roundabout, but what inspired you to pursue a career in roofing, and how do you think the industry can kind of share that inspiration more widely to people our age?
Well, I graduated in 2020 and I had no prior experience in construction or building products or roofing, but I got lucky enough to just kind of fall into it. And I realized that once I got into it, you kind of look at the world in a totally different way. So, before I might have just looked at a house and said, oh, that's a nice house. Now I'm like, look at that stone coated steel roof over there. And, my family's like, can you please stop talking about roofing for 5 minutes? But I love, how my work is influencing the world around me and I can see it every day. And it's really inspiring to me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Mia, what kind of inspired you to pursue this career in roofing, having studied kind of, more of the fashion side in college?
Yeah, so I still absolutely love the fashion industry. I think it's really cool, but I've kind of always been around the construction industry growing up. My dad did gutters. Some of my uncles own a construction company. And I think seeing their hard work and how much pride they really had in this industry showed me a lot of valuable lessons growing up. It was really great just being around it and seeing the opportunities that it created for a lot of people. And also, I recently went to like a GAF, Latinos in Roofing event, and I saw how many people really relied on this industry, and they were passing it on to their children, maybe like Brandon and his family, their company. So I think it's great all around.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Brandon, I would love to know, how do you think the industry could kind of share this inspiration more widely, so we get more people our age coming in with this, gung ho attitude?
Yeah, kind of to backtrack and answer the first question so I can answer
Yeah.
that second.
Yeah.
Having that my dad who started this company so early on, it was such a family company. I had people that were working for my dad that were at the hospital when I was born, being
Oh,
like, and they held me when I was a newborn. So we've always kind of had this like family company that like everyone is related. And even if we're not blood related, we feel related.
yeah.
And it's a culture that my dad created that it's I've always looked up to it, and I knew because of that, like that's something I wanted in my life. And
Yeah.
then kind of similar when we're going to Western states, like like everyone is very tight knit, and it's not like a clingy type of tight knit, but everyone wants to be and like help you, and everyone's like giving out their number and wanting to seriously like be of any service to you.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring because not a lot of companies are like that. A lot more companies or like industries are pretty cutthroat.
Yeah.
So having that is just like, it's really cool to be a part of this industry. And I do think, Mia, even though you like fashion, I do think that you're gonna want to stay in the roofing industry because once you're in, you're not, it's tough to come out.
Yep, we'll see.
We'll do a check-in
Yeah.
next year and see where we're all at.
Yeah.
Hey, Cade. So, how did you find roofing, and how would you share your experience to kind of inspire more people to join roofing?
Sorry, my internet's a little messed up. Am I good? Can y'all
Yep,
hear me?
you're good.
Okay, so real close family friend of mine got me into roofing whenever I needed, like a high school summer job.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about roofing at all. I didn't know really anything, but like the amount of knowledge I needed to know and to learn, like couldn't keep up with like how much I had to learn. So that keeps me engaged. It's just
Mm-hmm.
constant learning. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's always something to learn in roofing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, Lane, what inspired you to get into roofing and how would you share that message out?
Um, I started working in sales selling solar, and I was kind of just spinning my wheels, and my dad was like, "Hey, why don't you just try to sell roofs?" And it ended up working out really well. I think within my first week, I sold like 4 roofs, and it was just this like such electric feeling where it was like someone had mentioned to me, not to make it all about money, but this is a pretty lucrative way for you to make money at a young age. And I just kind of connected with that in a way that I didn't experience when I was like, because I majored in computer science. I thought I was going to be a computer programmer. And after doing that for like about 2 years, I realized it wasn't for me. And it was the connection that I had that I was looking for out of my um, like job uh, finally like clicked, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say like if you're just getting into the industry, this is a great way to have lifelong earning, you know? This isn't
Yeah.
going anywhere.
Yeah. Everybody needs a roof.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love it. Well, we already have some questions coming in. I love it. I want to shout out Karen Edwards, our COO here at the coffee shops, put in the chat that we have a new photo contest and it's family photos. So if you have a family business or, you know, your family or your business feels like a family, please send in some photos for the photo contest. It'll be really fun to see everyone's families. So I would love to just kind of get straight into the nitty gritty here of what do you all think are the biggest misconceptions younger professionals have about roofing and the trades? And how can we change that narrative? So we've talked about how you all got inspired to join the industry. What are some misconceptions about roofing, about construction, that you have heard, and how can we change them?
I'll start.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking with some of my friends just like in the tech background, they thought that this was just going to be like a dead end job for me, you know, like roofing or a lot of trades just have like this kind of negative kind of connotation with them. And if you go to Western states, if you go to any of these roofing conventions, you see how big this industry really is and how much you can progress in your career. Um, so I would just say, you know, you don't really know until you start doing it that this is a blossoming career with a lot of potential for growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a good point. That's such a good point. With a lot of trades, like plumbing too, you know, and electrical and HVAC, there's so much room for growth and to make just a great living for yourself. And I think a lot of people see those blue collar jobs as, like you said, Lane, kind of a dead end situation.
But even if
Yeah,
you
kind
start
of.
as blue collar, you can go into sales or marketing or
Yeah.
training or product research or market, geeky market research. There's so many paths you could take. It's not just, being up on the roof all day, every day.
Yeah.
Adding to that too, I think a funny one is like the trades are for people who didn't go to college. And I don't think there's a right answer. Like you don't need it or need, but it's not like a harmful thing. Like for our company, my dad, my mom, brother, and I all went to college. And it's funny when I was at my university, like I'd get people saying like, why are you even going to college? Like you're gonna go to your dad's roofing company. And I was like, well, yeah, but I'm still like you learn so much wherever you
Mhm.
are.
Yeah.
And it's like you having a business in the trades, you realize it's really the same as every other white collar like kind of industry
Yeah.
that like you still have to be entrepreneurial. You still have to know your numbers. You still have
Yep.
to lead and inspire a group of people to complete a very dangerous job.
Yeah.
I like it's kind of funny when we were at Western States. Megan, I think you were sitting at the same table with Mr. Pete.
Mr. Pete. Hi,
And
Pete.
there was something that he said that really stuck with me. He wasn't proud to be a roofer for a while. And it was once he like came to this realization that I protect trillions of dollars in assets while doing the second most dangerous job in the country. And it's kind of a funny way to look at roofing,
Yeah.
but it's such an important job, and like everyone kind of looks down upon roofing as not the cool industry, but it's such a big deal. Every house has a roof on it, and every shelter and every building does. So the industry that we're a part of is a very important industry for our whole economy.
Yeah. Yeah. Mia, did you have something to add to that?
Nope.
Oh, wait. Are you muted? Hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon, you had such a good point. When I was actually looking for a job and, I signed my contract with SRS, I think a lot of people were really questioning my career choices and they didn't really understand. They're like, why are you going into roofing? Like you just got a degree. And it was a little heartbreaking for a while. I didn't really understand. I'm like, this is still a really important industry.
Yeah.
Like you said, everyone does need a roof, and no matter what it might change. Like, for example, solar is being introduced into the market.
Yep.
People need to keep educating themselves every single day on maybe new methods or the roofing industry is changing every day is basically what I'm saying. But I don't think a lot of people understand what really goes into this. For example, SRS, we are a vendor, but our ops manager is so busy trying to figure out the logistics and putting all of these pieces together to make the puzzle whole. And a lot of brain really goes into it. It's not as simple as sometimes people think. And, you know, maybe, yes, some people use a hammer and roofers do things, but there's a method to everything. It's not just you're hammering things here and there, but it's a craftsmanship.
Yeah.
So there's a beauty in it.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. And someone, Terrence in the chat just said a lot of people think it's for people with low IQs being in the trades or roofing specifically. And he said they don't understand the complexity of putting on a roof and dealing with customers and building relationships. So true. Like in all of these trades, you need to have not only hard skills but soft skills in being working with people, building those really kind of heartfelt relationships with building owners, homeowners, letting like convincing people to trust you and with their home that's a big deal. So what let's kind of get into misconceptions about our generation or generations. I don't Are we all Gen Z? I think, right?
Yes.
Please,
Yep.
can I be Gen Z, please? I'm begging. What are some misconceptions about this younger generation joining the workforce that you all would like to address? And Cade, I realized I skipped you on the last question, so
It's okay.
you can start and hit us on the last question too if you want.
Um, I'll go back to the last question and I'll just start from there. We'll go from there.
Perfect.
The biggest misconception I think about like roofing is that people think it's not very lucrative.
Yeah.
And it can be if you work hard and like to go off what Lane said, you have a lot of room for growth.
Yeah.
And so that'll help it get a little bit better money wise. But
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the trades go, I mean, at least here in Texas, I see it shifting a lot. Like whenever I was coming out of high school and college, a lot of my peers, like they chose to go in the trades.
Yeah.
I know a lot of, tradesmen.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it's changing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, misconceptions about this younger generation in the workforce. What have you all experienced? Have you had, those people on the job saying, "What are you doing here? You're too young."
Oh, all the time. I've got homeowners who are like, "How long have you been doing this? You don't seem like you're a real like roofer."
Well,
You
you
know?
have a baby face too.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. So I that's when I just gotta, really hit them with a bunch of education. Like, this is exactly how your roof's gonna go. This is drip edge. This is like, and start hitting them with the technical facts about what a roof is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think some of the misconceptions are like or some of the things that people consider young people in the industry, that we're going to be lazy, that we're not going to work hard, and
Yeah.
that's like totally not true. I'm
Yeah.
cranking out 60-hour weeks all the time, like if not more. I
Mhm.
love this job. So I wish that some people would see, like, you have to start somewhere. We can't all be the crotchety old contractor that's like got, 40 years of experience under our belt. Like, we got to start somewhere, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I like it. No offense to the crotchety old contractor. We
No,
love
not
you
at all.
guys.
We all aspire to be that sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Lily, Mia, Brandon, Cade, what are some experiences you all have had being a young person in roofing specifically, and how have you kind of handled them?
Yeah, I can kind of touch on that. Since I've only been in the industry for like a month and a half, I feel like I've kind of experienced a decent amount of things. A couple weeks ago, I went to table at the University of Alabama's career fair with some branch managers and territory managers and such. And it was really awesome to kind of see what type of people were interested in the roofing industry. Um, we had boys and girls and a lot of people that were majoring in operations. It was like a blend between operations and engineering. But I remember there was this one guy that kind of came up to us and he was like, "Oh, I'm having a great time here, but you guys seem like my type of people." And I feel like that was a really big wake-up call because, people they table at the career fairs and stuff, but SRS, we did a great job of not just tabling, but kind of telling our story, saying, we are the roofing industry. I think there's kind of like a certain look, maybe like more of like the jeans and like the polos, and that's kind of what I think of like with the roofing industry. And I told one of the branch managers, I was like, we are here telling a story about SRS, and it was really cool to see that some of the students understood kind of what we were trying to represent and that it was appealing to them.
Yeah.
Um, I think that, with misconceptions, there are definitely there's always going to be misconceptions, but there can also be ways that us as an industry can represent what we stand for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using your young people in your company to
Yeah.
go do those job fairs, to recruit their friends, their cousins, whatever, and bringing in that next generation however you can is going to be pivotal in the next, decade.
Yeah.
Brandon, Lily, anything to add?
Yeah. It's funny. I was working at Beacon, and I mean, as the young one coming in right out of college, I'm like, oh, why don't we do this? And I had one of my favorite people. He was an older guy. He's been in the industry for a while. And he would be like, no, like it's done this way. And I'm like, okay, like just kind of listen and kind of go along with it. But there were some times where I was like, no, like trying to challenge him back on it. Like, no, this would streamline our whole process, or
Yeah.
this would do like this would be so beneficial for us. And we kind of went at it, not really, but like we both kind of got better. And I think what's important for the younger generation when like speaking and talking with the older generation is like having that like dialogue where you can have an open discussion on what you think is best and really being able to explain and communicate your side. Because like we have great ideas as Gen Z, like as the technical people that we were growing up in this. But it's now being able to communicate that in an easier way to these older generations is really beneficial. And I mean, kind of funny story, but I would always like help him on Excel, like this is how you like auto sum or like whatever it was. So like there's different things that like I helped him on and he helped me on, and like we ended up being super close, and I love him. Um
Yeah.
but that's kind of how I went about the older generation to the younger generation.
Yeah. I think that's such a good point of like putting two, like kind of mentor mentee, putting two people in your company together to create that bond, that relationship, and see what happens from it and what greatness can come from it. Because I'm sure something will. Lily?
I think the one thing that I thought of was just that they don't think that we want to work or that we're lazy, kind of like what Lane was saying. But I think we were talking about it before the call started. Like all of us are trying to soak in as much information as physically possible whilst also putting out our new ideas and trying to make sense of everything. Um, and that takes so much work, so much brain power every single day. So hopefully that pushes back against the idea that we don't want to work or that we don't want to learn or that we're lazy, because I don't think that that's true at all.
Yeah. Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. So kind of going off of that mentor-mentee relationship, um, how do mentorship or apprenticeship programs impact the decision of young people to stay in the industry? Like, have you all had a mentor here in the industry and has it helped you, stay and get excited about the industry? Kate, I see you. Oh, Lily.
I have.
If you want to go, you can. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, Megan, you know them, Holly Green and Tina Hall. They have been my
Yeah.
mentors, and I love them to death. They've taught me everything I know about roofing, and
Hey, Holly.
they've made it so fun to learn.
Yeah. So sweet. It was so fun being at the North Texas Roofing
Yeah,
Contractors Show this summer in August, and I saw Cade and your coworker, and I went, "Ooh, young people, ooh, potential
yeah,
friends, hey,
yeah,
come over here."
true.
And then I found out that you all worked for Holly, and I was like, "Oh, that's even better,
Mhm.
perfect." So yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And so having something like that has helped you stay in the industry and stay excited.
Yes, no, definitely. Like, just I know that I can learn so much from them, and they are very o open to helping me. So
Yeah,
that's really sweet and nice.
that's great. Lily, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I've had like two or three people in my job that have really let me, ask all of the stupid questions and really learn from them. And that means more to me than my paycheck, because money, comes and goes and changes over time, but they're giving me advice and information that I can use for the rest of my career. So it's really, really important. I also think that mentors, if you tell a mentor, oh, I'm struggling with this, or oh, I messed this up, or I can't do it. I've had mentors say, when I was your age, I couldn't even do half of what you're doing right now, or, I messed up just as bad, or if not worse. And it makes you feel like you're not consistently failing, that this is a learning process that everyone's had to go through. And that means everything for me. It keeps me going.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Lane, Brandon, Mia, have any of you had mentors in the industry that stick out to you?
Yeah, I think the MIT program, Manager in Training, is so amazing because it really allows you to make connections and connect with your branch managers. Right now, I am located in the Athens branch with Jess Kress, and
Yeah.
she is so knowledgeable, so experienced, and is just like she's been great. Since I've been there, she's been helping me connect with people and really advocating for me, which I think really helps set the foundation up for any industry.
Yeah.
It not only helps you set up, but it prepares you for when you are maybe going to be promoted. Um, and it's a great base. I think it also gives you someone to kind of relate to if you're
Mhm.
struggling. I remember my first couple weeks, it was kind of a lot, there's so much to learn so quickly. And I think I was just kind of a bit overwhelmed and just, she reassured me that everything will be okay. And sometimes it's just kind of nice to hear, especially in such a male-dominated industry, coming from maybe a mentor that's also maybe been through similar things. So that's why I personally love having a mentor. And I think the MIT program is great at setting you up for success when it comes to that.
Love it. Yeah, especially as a young woman entering a very male populated, not dominated, populated industry.
I like that.
It can be hard. So having that lifeline, that support system is so pivotal. I love that. I love that Jess is that person for you. Brandon Lane,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny. I was in a similar program at Beacon, and um, what they did was truly like care about us and like pour a lot of time and energy into us interns, which was very cool because not a lot of companies would do that. They'd say like go sit in your corner and do your little PowerPoint and whatever.
Yeah.
But they really like got us to connect with everyone, and like I was meeting with vendors and I was meeting with other like people that were higher up in the company and like made such good connections that when I did leave, I still have those connections, and I still have like everyone like that. Well, now that like I'm the customer to them, which is funny.
Right.
But it's a different relationship, but I still like can call any of them and like ask them questions. So like they still truly care about me. And now that I'm
Yeah.
at my family company, our office manager, Dawn, she's been so instrumental in like me kind of stepping in and learning every little kind of piece of the inside of the business, whether it's payroll or like managing our books or anything. Like she's been with us for over 20 years. So she's seen everything from when it was busy to when it was slow and kind of what to do. So, I mean,
Yeah.
she's been awesome and getting me kind of up to speed on everything.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Lane?
Yeah, I kind of just piggybacking off what Brandon said. It's our office manager is my mom, and she is instrumental to our operation. So in terms of like just learning the ins and outs of just day-to-day stuff, that's someone that I really lean on. But also like my foreman, my dad, just like everyone on the team is who I like have to kind of rely on and look up to help kind of guide me as a young professional in this industry. Because we are a relatively large team, but not that large, where it's like there's not a lot of people to like really like mentor me. So I'm seeking that. If there's one piece of advice that I could give to any company is like have mentorship, have leadership positions that you can kind of train younger people into, because it's important for retention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so important to retention. And so we actually had a question here from Raquel. What are some key factors that make you want to stay in a company? And what resources in the industry are lacking to offer to your generation that would help you grow? So maybe we'll hit the first question first of what makes you stay in a company? What are parts of their culture that um, keep employees there?
I can kind of touch on that.
Yeah.
Something I've noticed about SRS is that they are awesome at investing in their MITs. Um, this past week, we went to something called Peak Week, where it was basically 3 days full of knowledge. We talked to vendors. We had John Mansville come in, and yes, they
John's
actually
Manville.
woo!
Woo!
They made they made a display and kind of explained to us how to bring sighting in and sell it. We learned about commercial jobs and went up on a roof, and we got to meet all of the other MITs and TMITs in the program, which was really, really awesome to kind of talk to them, see what they're going through, how their experience is going, where they are. So that was really nice to connect with them. But I think overall, just working for a company that really invests in you and wants to teach you, wants you to learn and grow. I think those are such valuable things in not just the roofing industry, but any industry. This
Yeah.
feeling like, you're cared about.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think
Um,
providing those situations where you can learn. Lily?
Yeah, I was just gonna say also having leadership that is open to hearing what you have to say and actually seriously considering your ideas and thoughts. Whenever we do interviews for my company, that's what I always say is that I love that I've got managers or a leadership team that listens to me, even though I am one of the youngest people at the company and values my ideas and I can openly speak up and share my thoughts and opinions without feeling judged or belittled or, things
Yeah.
like that. So that's super important as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Cade, what has made you stay at Bretco?
I would say like just the people. Like it it goes down to like how much they can teach me. Not only that, and also like the culture, how
Yeah.
the office is, like if we go do fun things, I'm not saying like every week, but like every other week, in the summer, go do a fun thing on Friday or something like that. Just that keeps you engaged and you kind of feel like build like this family style bond with your coworkers, which is not
Yeah.
normal in the real like in a white collar job, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lane and Brandon, what do you all do since you're, working for a family business, to keep your employees happy, healthy, thriving?
I would say just like making sure people are taken care of, or like making sure they feel taken care of. That's the more important part. And whether that's, I mean, different benefits, but it's also just like one of the foremen actually, a couple of them told me was like, "Hey, Brandon, like what shows the most that you care is like you just coming out to the job site and just checking in on us. Maybe bring some Gatorades, but like just come check in on us." And he's like, "That's how like we see that you care, and that's how we respect that. If you take time out of your day to just, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to throw tile, but just come check on us." And it's like, okay, I'll do that. Like bring them lunch or I'll bring them Gatorade sometimes, but just come say hi and give them a fist bump and say, keep it going. That's
Yeah,
what they care about. And I mean, it's worked. So there's been people with us for over 20 years. So
that's
I think
awesome.
that's a big piece for sure.
I love that. Lane?
Yeah, it's been said a couple of times, but developing a company culture that people are proud to be a part of.
Yeah.
Employee retention packages and stuff like that are expensive, but if you can afford just even the slightest little bit, like retirement plans or um,
Healthcare.
healthcare, especially, even like a life insurance policy, we offer that for our guys. Like,
That's
um,
awesome.
things like that just help create a sense of pride in the worker that, like, at least for me, it's like I know that they're being taken care of, that they feel like their voices are being heard, and that they are a part of a team that's like going to support them and their families. Um, because I know a lot of companies where their problem is they build these guys up and then they lose them to them starting their own companies. And we've, like Brandon's family, like we've had guys who've been with us since our founding in 2004. So
Hmm.
they've been with us for over 21 years at this point. And that's our A team crew. We don't want them going anywhere. Um, so I don't know. One thing that I recently started to do is take not just take them lunch, but like making sure that their uniforms are all clean. So like just making sure that the team is nice and as silly as that might seem, like clean and taken care of. There's a sense of pride in that I think is like anyways, pretty
I
cool.
love that. No,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Send it out to dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so nice. My husband is a plumber, so he comes home and I'm like, you need to go take a shower and we're gonna wash your clothes. So
Yeah,
I
it's
totally get
important.
that.
Uniforms are important.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. So is there anything lacking in this industry that you would say could benefit young people in their growth coming up? Any advice for the people listening to this? maybe Lily, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat, like from a white collar
Second,
perspective.
I'm trying to think.
I
Like,
know.
obviously training is huge. Paths for development or paths for promotion are huge. Um, continuous learning, like my company lets me go to IRE and NWIR days every year so that I can continue to go to meet new people,
Yeah.
obviously, and build my network, but also learn about, what's the biggest, best new thing in roofing every year. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Anything else? Yeah, Mia.
I think that TikTok and social media is so popular now, and everyone seems to just get their information from that. I think, roofing videos and they're definitely out there, but I don't think a lot of people kind of talk about the other side of roofing, maybe more of like the contractor side, the sales side. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and some manufacturers definitely have theirs, but when I kind of looked, I'm like, when I'm doing a deep search of what I'm really looking for in the roofing industry, if whether just whatever it is, I feel like there's not that much out there. Maybe not that much of like a TikTok presence of just people talking about maybe what goes on in a branch or the other side of roofing, not just what actually happens on the roof. Um, so I think a lot of people don't really know of what goes on in the roofing industry, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
sure,
for
but
sure. For sure. Yeah, getting your story out there. Sorry.
yeah,
Dog. Getting your story out there and sharing that on social media is a way to reach that younger generation for sure.
I
yeah,
would say too, like the roofing industry is honestly still behind when it comes to technology. And I think it's a good thing for us younger generation, like as a younger generation. It's like it's a huge opportunity for us. And I mean, we grew up around tech, so we could like if we could just take what we know and bring it into the roofing companies, like we have the opportunity to change not just our own company, but a whole industry. And I think that it should be exciting around the younger generation of like we could change a whole industry together. And I think that's awesome to think about. And like, who knows where that takes us in the next 5, 10 years.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think having technology would actually draw people that wouldn't normally be drawn into this industry, like people who want to do research or data or, engineer, all these different things. It's bringing all these diverse ideas into our industry, which is fantastic. So totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so we have another question here from the audience. Um, Yay! Raquel said, great answers. I took a lot of notes. Thank you. Yay! I'm glad we could answer your question. Um, Kind of going back to what we talked about previously of like what are some misconceptions about being a young person coming into the workforce. But how do you approach people that say you are too young? It's hard to lead people that are older than you. How do you approach that? Maybe people, some of you on here that are leading people that are older than you, um, what has been your experience with that?
I would say like I've instead of directing someone to do something that's older than you, it kind of feels funny. And you're
Yeah.
like, this isn't right. Or someone who's been in the industry longer than you too, for that matter. Um, but saying like, hey, we need to get this done. Like, why don't I take this half and you take this half? And kind of like leading by example and saying like, let's do this together. And then the more you do that, the more you can kind of like lead more people. And I think it works. And it kind of like it gets us like our hands dirty and like we're still obviously all learning and there's so much for us to learn. So there's no reason we shouldn't also be doing that task. So
Mhm.
it's a win-win, I think.
Yeah. Lane, do you manage people that are older than you as the sales manager?
Yeah, all the time. We have even if it's just talking to the production side of things too, it's like, hey, we need to get this, like trying to get someone to adhere to a timeline or something like that. Like but what Brandon said was a phenomenal answer, like leading by example, doing stuff together. You're not telling someone to do something, like you're going to do it with them. I think that
Yeah.
that's like a really powerful way of keeping everyone just kind of like on the same level, you
Yeah.
know, especially when there is an age gap or an experience gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like you could be 25 and have 10 years of experience, and someone could be your same age and have no experience, but you're the same
Yeah.
age, so
Because I also roofs door to door, and trying to convince an older gentleman who's never really knocked a door to be outgoing and doing stuff like that, like it's something that I've had to experience recently. And the way that we overcame that was like, okay, you're gonna knock this door, and then I'm gonna knock the next door, and then like we just did 50 doors together, and it's like, uh, it was a really easy way to kind of like teach, but also like be an example of like this is how we're gonna do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay. I think, does anybody have anything else to add to that? Cade?
Yeah, I would say like they killed that answer, Brandon and Lane. Like that was perfect. Because whenever I show up like at a job site and our roofers have been working 20 years just doing roofs all the time. And I try to tell them to do something. Obviously, they're gonna be like, I don't really believe you. But you have to just get in there and get your hands dirty and get to work, and then they'll respect you. They'll
Yep.
respect you if then they'll be more likely to listen.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of always make the assumption when I go into anything that the first thing people are going to think about me is you look like you're 12 and you're a woman as well. Um, so with that, I come into everything that I do having done extra work, being extra prepared, extra practice, all those things so that I'm building that respect, hopefully. And so the next time we meet, we know that we're on a more level playing ground.
Yeah, for sure.
To add to it too, I would like it's going to take time, and we're going to become more educated, and we're going to get more experience to where the gender or the age gap's not going to be as big of a deal. It's just going to be that we know our stuff and so do they, and
Yeah.
who's the leader at that point. And then it comes down to just saying what you want with conviction and communicating it clearly, and you'll be able to lead almost anyone.
Yeah. Dang, that was good.
That was good.
Conviction. Love it. Okay, so I have a really interesting question here. What is everyone's feeling on working in the office versus remote? Coming from a 40 plus year experienced old man, smiley face. So, personally, I work remote. I love it. I get to be home with my dogs all day, but I'm not on the roof. So, what's all of y'all's experience with that?
I can start this, but I knew when I was looking for a job that I definitely wanted to go into the office.
Love it.
I feel like getting out of bed, starting my day, talking to people would really make an impact on my career.
Mhm.
Not saying that remote jobs are not, people oriented, but in this industry, I think it's really nice to be able to talk to people, make relationships, and yeah,
In
I
person.
think I value in person. I also think going along with, having a mentor and such, it's a lot easier to have that connection and relationship in person.
Yeah. I think also we all are of the generation where we either were finishing high school during COVID online or we were in college during COVID online. And so we've all had that experience of learning or starting our careers online. And so I totally see what you mean on that and wanting to be in person, getting up, having a dedicated workspace. Yeah. Anybody else on that one?
I would, it's kind of funny. So when I was at Beacon as an LT, I had to be at work at 5:30 in the morning and then leave at 4 p.m. And those are just the hours that you got kind of used to.
Wow.
But my roommate worked remote. So I would be up at 4:30, like getting ready for breakfast, making a bunch of noise, and like he's sound asleep until like whatever time he chose to wake up. And very different industries. Um,
Yeah.
but if you're in the roofing industry, it's you as a roofer, you need to be, or as a distributor, like you need to have these face-to-face connections because it's a service industry. It's like we all sell the same thing. We all do the same thing to an extent. So it's
Mhm.
what can you offer that's more than just the product to sell yourself, and it's yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll just say I work completely remote. My company does not have like a set headquarters, so we're all over the country. And this is the, first full-time job that I've had. And so this is actually all I've really ever known aside from, part-time work before when I was in college or prior to that. Um, so I don't really know anything different. Sometimes I wish that we could have, sometimes we go into the office, sometimes we don't, but I do find when I do get to be with my coworkers in person, it's more special because we don't
Yep.
get to do it that often. And I also find that because I'm remote, my job requires me to talk with people all over the country every single day.
All day
And
long.
I feel super connected to everyone. Like, uh, maybe that's just me. I am a little bit more introverted, so maybe I don't need as much, person to person interaction, but um I don't feel like it hinders me. So that's just my perspective.
Yeah. I would actually second that sentiment just because you guys know I'm yapping. I'm yapping all day long on the phone, on Teams, on Zoom. My plumber husband comes in. He hasn't talked to a single person all day. He's just been laying pipe. And he goes, "Wow, you really just talk all day long." I know, I do. But it's very different compared to working at somewhere like SRS, QXO, owning and helping run a roofing company. Cade, do any of your employees do remote or are you all in office?
No, we're all in office.
Nice.
I would say like for me, I've never worked remote or anything like that, but I have to be at the job site. Like I have to get up
Yep.
and I have to go there and I have to make sure everything's good. And that's just like how I like to do things. I would love to be at home with my dog, working
Yeah.
fine, but that's not, at least for me in my role, it's not realistic. Because I mean, homes are all over the place, buildings are all over the place. You have to go there.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, we only have about, 8 minutes left. This has gone by so fast. Thank you all for your brilliance. We have some really great comments here. Impressive group here. You all have done great today. Thanks for doing this. Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Alana. Thank you, Terrence. Um, Absolutely. This has been so fabulous. So, to kind of round out our conversation here, I'd love for us to touch on, the future, looking ahead. What do you all think will define the future roofer or tradesperson in the next 10 to 20 years? And what will that person look like? Um, Brandon, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat.
Oh, I mean, I think it's kind of how we adapt to this like new technology of AI and kind of what companies are gonna carry that and run with it and what companies are gonna suffer. And then all of a sudden it's gonna be interesting. I think it's also the safety aspect that is like definitely become a bigger factor as of
Yeah,
recent. I think it's a good thing that we're seriously as an industry caring about it a lot more, and
yeah,
it's just gonna like I said earlier, how we're the second most dangerous job in the world. So making that come down, hopefully, I think that's part of the future roofer too. Is like I don't want to be known as the second most dangerous job. Hopefully, one day we aren't.
yep. Well said.
I can also add something, maybe not about what the person will look like, but maybe what a contractor or, a distributor would maybe look like. I think maybe 10 years ago, a lot of contractors used to specifically do one type of roofing. But I think contractors 20 years from now are gonna be they're kind of gonna want to be a one-stop shop where, maybe they buy all their materials from SRS, or, a contractor will be able to do all types of different roofing, not just residential, but maybe residential, commercial, solar.
Yep.
The more that they can do, the merrier, to be honest. It makes them that much more appealing to customers. There's so
Yeah.
many options, and you know, like Brandon said, technology. Right now, there's something called Eagle View. I'm maybe some of you are familiar, but I just kind of heard of it yesterday. It's an awesome software.
Yeah.
Using AI to take satellite images. I think that's what it is. And then, creating an estimate, like these are things that, contractors should really try to incorporate in their businesses, as it will help them with costs. They don't really need an estimator to go out there, and sure, they might need one, but I think it's a pretty accurate estimate of it. Would you guys say it's accurate? Like, I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super accurate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me put
It's
you guys
actually
onto one.
planes.
Yeah.
Planes, really?
They fly their own planes, which kind of sets them apart.
Oh, I thought it was like a satellite out out
I think
there.
they use satellite as well, but it's
Yeah.
mostly Eagle View. They fly their own planes. They have their own their own fleet of planes that they fly, and they sell drones now, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's so awesome. Like
I
that's
know.
the future right there. And I think, the more people that kind of learn how to use those systems will
And I think
excel in this
going
industry.
along
Yeah.
with just like learning, like I know Clemson just came out with a roofing minor. I
Oh
know in
yeah.
Oklahoma they just made it a thing where you have to pass like a written exam to get a roofing license. So I think as stuff like that comes out, that association with only people with low IQ, like someone was saying earlier, like that kind of stuff is going to go away as there's more things like that where you're actually getting a license, you're getting education, this is a science. People kind of start to realize that more.
Yeah. Yes. I completely agree. Like, having something like the other trades have journeyman, master, those kind of things I think will be hopefully coming down the pipeline. Well, we have some really great comments here. I just want to read to you all. Raquel said, "Wonderful panel and host. I would hire each one of you. I'm very hopeful on what this generation will bring to our industry." And then Terrence said, "Enjoyed listening, jumping off to get on another call. Great job in putting this together. Have a great rest of the week." Thank you everyone for listening. And I just want to thank all of my amazing panelists here for chatting with me. Anything else you want to leave the audience with on, this next generation coming in? Any last words?
Kind of a funny line that Mr. Pete told me, that I think is good for everyone to hear, is I was like telling him kind of like my life story, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm 24, and he like interrupts me and he goes, I don't care if you're 60, I don't care if you're 18, put your head down and get to work. It was just kind of like all right, geez, like sounds like a plan. So I don't know, it stuck with me. It was one of those random comments that's like, all right, there's
I
no
love
really
that.
excuse, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's a great sentiment to end on. Thank you, Brandon. I would just like to thank Johns Manville again for sponsoring today's coffee conversation. You guys are just on the forefront of doing everything. And as someone that lives in Denver, we love Johns Manville. So thank you so much for sponsoring this. And the next coffee conversation we're going to have is at MetalCon, live in person. Is anyone going to MetalCon here on the panel? Oh. Lane, you're going?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with my dad won a seat with like from Roofer's Coffee Shop. They sent him, or you guys are sponsoring him to go, so I was gonna go. I was
Yes.
gonna tag along.
I think we
Yeah.
have an extra that we could give you, so email me about that. So you get a
Oh,
pass too.
okay,
Yes.
cool.
That's thanks to I can't remember the sponsor of that giveaway, but Karen will know in the chat. But thank you. That's so exciting. Okay, so if anyone going to MetalCon here in the audience, we're going to be doing a live coffee conversation sponsored by Sherwin-Williams, MetalView. And thank you all so much. We'll see you on the next coffee conversation. This will be up in 24 hours, so you can send it to your grandma and watch it all over again. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time on rooferscoffeeshop.com.